And the conversation that Kenyans are having this moment, you know, say for the disruption from politicians, is about resource generation. And that is where taxation comes in. And if we are to do any assessment of the 2023 taxation issues that were unleashed on Kenyans by the Kenya Kwanza government, apart from unleashing terror on Kenyans, KRA missed its targets thoroughly. So I would think that the first point where this administration ought to have begun is by taking stock that in as much as we did all this, in as much as we rained all this terror on Kenyans, how did we get it wrong, and how didn't we get the targets that we were looking for? But if you think about the MP for Molo and what he has been walking around saying, if you think about him as the mouthpiece of William Ruto, then you can see where we are heading as a country. I put it to you that that is not his thinking. That is actually the thinking of the Kenya Kwanza administration. If it were different, we could have seen very high-level people coming out to correct that kind of thinking. If you think about a country that is a net importer of almost everything, then imposing a tax on those kinds of importation issues, what results are they expecting? Goods can only go high, you know. If you think about an administration that is proposing an excise duty on edible oil up to 25%. And this is an administration that walked around saying Mama Mboga and those people that choma mandazi on the road and all that. I don't know really that there is any thinking that the Kenya Kwanza administration is putting into all this. We already know that there is no moral in terms of thinking about the public. That one was lost a long time ago. I already had begun by saying this is an administration that paraded the women of this country in one hall and promised that they were going to give free diapers. That clip is there, and it can be played to Kenyans. Today, the same administration is proposing an eco tax on the same diapers. Why are all these inconsistencies, and why are we seeing all this insensitivity? And I think the dispute currently that is there is between Kenyans and the Kenya Kwanza administration. You cannot have such an unstable tax policy and expect any business to thrive. The blind line of business is stability. But we are seeing an administration that really doesn't care. That tomorrow you come up with this, the other day you come up with this. You really do not care that businesses are going down. You really do not care that even in as much as you did that in the last year, you did not achieve still what you wanted. You do not even care to do an audit. You do not even to explain that, this is a progress that we're making. I think that there is a real dispute that Kenyans should have with the Kenya Kwanza administration. And I want to challenge these politicians that are walking around saying, can you have some little shame? Acknowledge that the task that is ahead of us is to thinking, how can we lift up businesses that have fallen due to your bad decisions? We need to have a culture of accountability, and unfortunately, that has totally been lost in the Kenya Kwanza administration. We cannot see them resonating with what Kenyans are saying. And I know the slogan that they are using, Mtadu, because clearly what can Kenyans do? He has just said here that the entire dance that we are seeing in every body language is about elections. For them, it is about elections. For them, it is about 2027. We are in UDA diehards and their leaders' minds. We are in 2027. So they don't care what happens between now and 2027. They really do not care. And to demonstrate that they do not care, I want them to just state, for example, what sector have they made better than they found? Just one. What sector have they made better than they found, apart from shifting from one lie to the other? I want to tell you about a very conspicuous lie, especially in education. To just rebut what we were talking about, when you see some people dancing now about the 1 man, 1 shilling vote, these are people that do not deserve the trust of Kenyans. These are people that walked around this country discrediting the new curriculum, for example. They beat it blue-black. For why? For the vote. When they came in, they have not done any reform on CBC. They actually upheld it with no explanation as to why we walked around causing trauma on Kenyan parents. Do you know how many parents changed their children from CBC to international schools? Why? Because these two politicians walked around promising that when we come in, we are rubbishing the whole thing. What happened to the culture of accountability? Do they care what they do to Kenyans as we speak? if you see someone today talking about the 2024 and you see the careless conversations that have been happening on national television, I'm quoting the MP for Molo, very careless conversations. If an investor makes a decision not to come to Kenya right now, he said that if you like, as a manufacturer, you can go set up plant in Uganda and import. No.
There's context to it.
Janet,
yes.
That was not accurately quoted.
Let me have the right quote.
What he meant is that if we continue with the tax laws that are coming every other year, there's a possibility that investors will go to neighboring countries and invest there, then import the goods that they process there, duty-free into the country, and that will be affecting the economy negatively.
And exactly, who is that lamenting? It is not Wanjiku lamenting. It is not Janet, who does not sit in parliament, lamenting. You know, he himself is trying, the common lie we are used to UDA, he's trying to pretend that I can hear what you guys are saying, but in actual fact, he is the person that is on the knife.
Okay.
Somebody telling us that if you don't like a motor vehicle tax, for example, you could keep your car at home or sell it and walk, you know?
All right, Janet, I hear you.